Yo, what's up, man? Sean G live on the scene. Saturday, June the 14th, 2025. Welcome to the podcast with Soul. Do me a favor and share this video with somebody who is following the Puffy trial. You can follow me on Spotify, on the podcast with Soul on Spotify. You can follow me on Instagram, the podcast with Soul, and I appreciate y'all. Shout out to all my new subscribers. Shout out to all my new followers on Instagram. Thank y'all for coming over. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the cash apps, the PayPals, and all of that. Send this video to Judge Subramanian. This is the judge that is over the Puffy trial. And I want to read something. Hey, Sean, come here. Federal judges interpret and apply the law in federal cases, ensuring justice and upholding the Constitution. They preside over trials, rule on motions, and make decisions that impact a wide range of issues from civil rights to criminal justice. Their role is crucial in maintaining the balance of power within the government and safeguarding individual rights. Core responsibilities, and I got this off of, I did a search on Google. Federal judges hear cases and interpret laws passed by Congress and the Constitution, ensuring they are applied fairly and consistently. They preside over a wide variety of cases, including civil lawsuits, criminal prosecutions, and appeals from lower courts. Federal judges are responsible for maintaining order and decorum during legal proceedings. They issue rules on motions, decide the admissibility of evidence, and ultimately determine the outcome of cases. Federal judges ensure that all parties involved in a case receive a fair trial and have their rights protected. Judge Subramanian This is my federal prison ID. That's my identification for when I went to federal prison at FCI Morgantown in Morgantown, West Virginia. I did 15 months, 15 days, and 19 hours on an 18-month sentence on a 28-count indictment for the aiding and the abetting in the preparation of fraudulent tax returns. Here's my PSI. This is my PSI. This is my whole case. This is my whole federal case. This is my PSI, Judge Subramanian. I'm a foundational Black American man born and raised in North Jersey, 56 years old. I went to prison in October of 2014, got out January 2016. Judge Subramanian, the federal law was applied to me. The letter of the law was applied to me. In my life, in my real life. And I had to live with it. And I had to accept it. And I did. Because I did wrong. I broke the law. And I knew I was breaking the law while I was breaking it. So when the people came, when the feds came, they raided my office April the 14th, 2011. I was busted. and they did their job. I got indicted. I pled guilty, and I was sentenced to 18 months in prison. Get that chair. Go get a pick and pick your hair. Come and sit down. And I was sentenced to 18 months in federal prison. I was scared to go, but I went. They wanted me to cooperate. They wanted me to wear cameras and wear wires, turn in my clients, and I said, man, I'm not doing that. No. And I went on ahead and did my time, Judge Subramanian. The United States of America laws was applied to me, and I had to live with it. A government witness in this Puffy trial, a white girl, sit down, pick your head. A white girl came in your courtroom and was told that she could not lie, that would be perjury. And she came in your courtroom, and there's a man sitting there facing 30 years in prison. Yeah, he put himself in that position, but he has a right to a fair trial. You are the judge in that case. And that white girl came in that courtroom and she told a big lie that she was hung from a balcony on the 17th floor in Los Angeles by that man sitting in your court. And that man was in New York with the girl who said that's whose house she was by. Pick your hair, man. Pick it. She perjured herself on the stand, in your face, in your courtroom, in front of the prosecution, in front of the defense, in front of me, in front of the media, in front of the world, because it's in the transcript. You heard it. You heard it. Because Alexandra Shapiro, the next day or a few days after, requested a mistrial based on that perjury. That was Alexandra Shapiro's second time filing for a mistrial for some nonsense that been going on in this case. And you know what you said, Judge Subramanian? You made an excuse for that girl. And you said, oh, she was on drugs, it was 9 years ago, maybe she misremembered. Yet, Puffy's case, they prosecuting him for things that went and happened back in 2008, 17 years ago. Double the amount of time is what this girl got on the stand and did. And you made an excuse for her in your courtroom, out your mouth. Assistant U.S. Attorney Smizer put that girl on the stand. And you said, oh, she was on drugs, maybe she misremembered. I didn't get that luxury. They didn't care nothing about however long ago it was. Matter of fact, when I went down there to Newark, because I got prosecuted in Newark, down there on 50 Walnut Street, they said, Sean, you were getting people too much money back on their taxes. You were filing fraudulent tax returns. And being that you have a bachelor's degree in accounting and a master's degree in finance, you're held to a higher standard. And Alexandra Shapiro stood up in the court and told you to your face that them federal prosecutors, Maureen Comey, Madison Smizer, Johnson, Slavic, are held to a higher standard. in that either they knew that girl's story was perjury, or they should have known because they held to a high standard. Maybe you don't care about me, and you don't have to, because I don't care about you neither. We don't care about each other. That ain't why we here. I don't want you to like me, and I don't need you. I don't have to like you, and you don't have to like me. But the law is the law. And if the law was applied to me, the law should be applied to that girl. And she needs to be charged with perjury. Because Nicole Westmoreland said it out. It can't be no clearer. And see, one thing's for sure and two things for certain, Judge Subramanian. Integrity ain't never went out of style, and it ain't gonna never go out of style. And here's your job description. The role of a federal judge. They issue rulings on motions, decide the admissibility of evidence, and ultimately determine the outcome of cases. And here you dismissed the black man off the jury for a minor infraction with his residence. He was living in the Bronx or Jersey or whatever the case may be. The prosecution and the defense had a chance to question this witness during the voir dire. They both agreed to allow this witness. And now here you go in week 6 because Assistant U.S. Attorney Steiner say they need to get off the jury. You agree with them, but you gonna let the white girl, her evidence was admissible. You wrong as two left shoes, man. And the whole world is watching you. And no matter what you do, Puffy goes and gets convicted or whatever, you can't undo what has already been done. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. And this will go down on your jacket. It'll be on your resume that you allowed a government witness, a witness that Ms. Smizer, Ms. Comey, all of them selected to put on the stand. A government witness came in your courtroom and lied, and you allowed it. That'll be on your jacket forever, and your children will have to live with that. Your father was the judge that let that girl come in there and lie and send that man to prison for 30 years. See, if you a man, you got to be a man. You got to be a man amongst men. See, when you take a win, you take a win. When you take a loss, you take a loss. But you don't cheat. That's the only way. That's the only way. And you know it, and you see it, and everybody see it. Everybody know it. The only way that that prosecution team can beat Puffy's legal team is to cheat. They can't beat Mark Agnifilo. They can't beat Tenny Garagos. They can't beat Alexander Shapiro. They can't beat Brian Steele, Nicole Westmoreland, Jason Driscoll, Estevao, Donaldson. They getting the prosecution is getting their ass kicked in that courtroom, and the only way they can win is to cheat. Every witness that done come in that courtroom for the prosecution has told a lie. Every last one of them. And I had to make this video for you, man, because as a nigga, man, in this country, I'm born and raised here. You from India. You are the Tamil people, Tamil. You are from southern India, where the darker complected Indians are from, the black Indians, who get discriminated by the white Indians in the north. Huh? All right, go ahead. Judge Subramanian, you got to do it right, man. You got to be fair, man. You got to be fair, man. And what you doing ain't fair. I've been watching you. I watch you every day. I listen to everything you say. Everything you say, I listen. I think you're doing a fair job in objections and sustaining objections and overruling objections, you know, and allowing the government prosecutors to rephrase questions and the defense. But man, if you let this girl, this white girl, come in your courtroom and tell a lie on Puffy, and Puffy's foundational Black American too, and so am I. I am the foundational Black American. And it's because of us that you was able to migrate here. Remember that. It was because of us that all immigrants have been able to come here. The foundational Black American has paved the way. Call this thing fair, man. Do it right. Do it right. And let me read this to you one more again. Federal judges issue rulings on motions, decide the admissibility of evidence, and ultimately determine the outcome of cases. And you denied Alexandra Shapiro's request for a mistrial. And I couldn't understand that. Is Brianna Bongolan going to be brought up on perjury charges? Yes or no? I was in prison with a lot of dudes, man. Lower income, middle income white dudes in the feds. Lower income, middle income Puerto Ricans. Lower income, middle income Mexicans. Lower income, middle income foundational Black Americans. All over the world. And we didn't have the money to pay for an all-star legal team like Puffy do. But the letter of the law was applied to us, and we went to prison. And we accepted it. Brianna Bongolan broke the law in your face, in your courtroom, doing probably one of the most highest profile trials there ever will be. What you gonna do about it, man? You gonna let that go like that? You gonna let her slide? But you gonna kick the brother off the jury? Let the white girl come in there and lie, and perjure herself. Sean G, Podcast for Soul. Peace.